Hello and welcome to Coffee with Crones. I thought we'd have a little coffee break, as it were, and make something, I was going to say pretty, I think they're pretty. Make some poppets. Pull up and have a brew. I have today peach and cherry tea, which I'm actually currently obsessed with. So yeah, sit back and relax and let's make one of these beauties. So I really love poppets, and you can make them out of nearly any kind of fabric that you've got. So these ones here, excuse my voice, these ones here are actually made out of these very bright colours, but for those of you that know me, this is not my style. This is much more my kind of thing. Something that looks like it's been buried for 10 years, that is my kind of style. So I took some kind of scrap fabric that I had to make these, and then these have actually been dipped in a black dye, a wood dye, not a fabric dye actually, just to kind of give that kind of worn effect, like it's been passed down generations and generations, or that it was made a long time ago for someone in mind. But yeah, so these are poppets, and I know that some people would naturally assume these are going to be voodoo dolls, but that is not the origin of these. These are poppets, and so these are actually quite British. And I just thought it'd be really nice for the Holly Moon box that I'm working on now, which is all around sharper edges and boundaries and anger and rage and justice. I thought actually having something that represents yourself in your work could be very, very important. So these aren't aimed to have pins in them. These represent yourself in your magical work. They can be used that way, but that's not what I'm advocating for at the moment with this box. It's more about your own boundaries and how you handle yourself in times of conflict and injustice. So let's get making. What you would need to do this is a pair of scissors, some botanicals, they're optional but to include inside your poppets, some any kind of string to kind of create this binding. I use this kind of hemming tape that I've had for years. I've got a huge spindle of it, and I love it because I can use it for so many different things, and it absorbs dyes really well. I'm not presuming that anybody want to dye their fabric, because I'm presuming that everyone's got a fabric that they really like, but obviously you can use fabric dyes that would also change that. So depending on what fabric you choose and how porous they are, that's going to have a result in how you dye something. But I thought today I would use this undyed so it can kind of show you the contrast of what I'm doing. You'll then need a square of fabric. You'll then need double it widthways. Hasn't got to be exact. The whole point of these looking a bit mismatched and rough is the whole point. So you'll need a square, double the width, and then half the width, so 3 pieces in all. Again, you can use 3 different types of fabrics, it's not going to matter. The way I do these, you're not going to need a needle and thread. There are loads of different ways of doing poppets, this being one of them, a very simple one. This one is just made of felt, so there's no kind of hemming needed, and it's all capped off around the edges because it's got salt and herbs inside. So there's loads and loads of different ways of making them. But this way, let's move you out of the way, let's give you a proper home, let's pop you there. This way, essentially, this big piece here is going to create the length of the dress and the top of the head. This is going to be the filling for inside the head, and this is going to be the arms. So we'll show you how it all kind of comes together. I'm going to pop that bit of binding away for a second because that's not important at the moment. So what we're going to work on first is filling the head. So this is essentially her lengthwise, and so that's why I've kept this edge at the bottom, because actually I'd like just a little bit of a skirt kind of finish. And what you're going to do is we're going to stuff a head shape into the top of in here. But what I want to do first is fill. So in the Holly Moon box there is this, and this is the little apothecary box, and in there you get some lovely things. So you get salt, rosemary, and your own labels, by the way, cascarilla powder, holly leaves, of course, they almost look fake but they are real, from my own holly bush. You get iron and pins, mugwort, heather, and cloves in there. And I actually think it's really important that you write your own labels, so I've numbered and keyed what they are on the bottom, so that when you receive those you can label them yourself. And it's just got like a lovely little box there. Love that sound. So out of that, I've got the mugwort and the heather. And so in the centre, you don't need a lot at all. Literally just something. And again, you could put like a little tiny crystal in here, anything at all. And you're just kind of thinking about what you want this puppet to bring in. So if you want it to bring in something like strength or protection or cleansing, obviously your herbs could be very different. This isn't just all about the Holly Moon box and rage and justice and all those kind of things. You can fill inside here with whatever you want. And so essentially we're just going to capture those inside there. And that, into a little ball shape, is going to create this head. These have not got to be anatomically correct. I've got one that's got a huge head. I've got ones with arms linked together. It doesn't really matter. So you are going to stuff the head up into there, like that. And that is going to be your head, essentially. And so then what we're going to do is we're going to twist that to kind of keep it in shape. And then we're going to take, we probably don't need to have string as long as this. Oh, went in my tea. You don't need to probably have string as long as this. I probably should have cut it, to be honest, but at least you can kind of see the different things you can do with it. And there we go, my now tea infused strap. So she says this one's going to have probably quite a small little head, and that's okay. So there we go. And then just again figure out where your front is. That's going to, no, because I want that to be my front. I want it to be a very nice shabby little skirt at the front. You can tie off at the back or the front, it's not going to matter. Details, basically, you can figure out what you like. And so now these are going to be the shoulders, like that. Love it. So looks like a little ghost. And so this is going to create the arms, and again, quite like that edge there, so I'm probably going to leave that one exposed. And what you do is, and you probably see them here, we roll them. They're all rolls. And again, they've not got to be super tight, you've not got to follow this exactly. This is just the style that I find I like for me. It's rough and ready, it's raw, it suits CalDorLyn as a brand, but you can make something more pretty or precise, however you like. And so that then tucks up right under her head. I say her, you can decide, but her head, like that. There we go. And so then when you pop a little waist in, you can start to see that this is going to be the shape. And how you then start to do the waist, she needs nothing underneath. You can then bring over, like so. You can actually see the teeth. You can do loads of different shapes. You can bind certain ways as well, certain numbers. You know, if a certain number is close to you, like if you like the number 3, 6 or 9, etc., you can bind a certain amount of times. Whatever kind of calls you to do it. You can put little, you know, a little charm around there, any little like charms or jewellery, anything that is associated with you. But I mainly just create some nice different shapes with the banding, like that. And this is just a really nice, quick thing to do, because you've not got to fiddle about with needles and thread. The tighter it is, seems to look the nicest to me. I quite like the layering of the banding. I'm going to go across. As long as you're securing the arms into the body, it doesn't really matter what's the different ways you can do it. So this one, the knot is kind of at the front of the waist. These ones are at the back. I prefer the one at the back. But again, it is your preference. So I've actually, whilst I'm doing this, I've surrounded the items here with the rest of what you get in the Holly Moon box. So we're going to get a little tiny cast iron cauldron, which is very exciting. Oh, I love that sound. That's how it comes wrapped. Just kind of help bring all of that focus work into a place. Just knocking off one of the other items there, so I might as well tell you about that one. You also get a rattle, so we're just going to tie this off at the back there. Again, tighter the better. Yeah, you get little rattles. Oh, makes me so happy. Yeah, you can tie this off however you wish. Again, if it's something that is symbolic in the head of trapping and keeping rather than trapping to hurt, the weave is nice and open, so it's allowing energy to flow through. But if you want to kind of maintain the magic that's within the head, you probably want to knot this rather than just bow it, or even bow it at all. Doesn't really matter. There we go. Again, it's not got to be perfectly symmetrical, and this is what she's looking like so far, which is great. And you can just kind of like keep fiddling about with the little, kind of almost looks like a petticoat now, which is cute. These almost become like shoulder pads, which I am here for. And again, if you made this really long, you can then tie them together. For darker purposes, you can bind behind the back, but let's not talk about that because let's keep this positive. Not toxically positive, but you know what I'm saying? See, I just want to try and get these shoulder pads looking nice. And then yeah, also in the Holly Moon box, you get a cord cutting kit as well. I'm actually really happy about these because I've double wicked them, so they're joined together, which means that when you light the candle, as soon as it goes to separate, that's when your cord cutting begins. Obviously you get all the twine in it as well, so I'm very, very happy with those, how they came out. In the kit as well, you also get a little selection of different bindings as well. There's rope, twine and ribbon in there, so you also get that. And actually what I haven't put on here is the do not disturb incense as well, quite a nice big chunky jar of that. And you'll also get one of these. So this is basically, in a nutshell, how to make one of these kind of raggedy poppets. And again, you can knot the back as many times as you like. You can cut the strap however you want to. And you see it wasn't actually that much left over. And there we go. So in there you've got infused with heather and mugwort. And that's just a really, really quick way of making a poppet. And so this can basically symbolize you. The more you can work with this, the better. So even inside here, or even within the straps there, I'd recommend things like your hair. You can put hair into the head, you can put like hair into the back there. Some people do fingernail clippings, anything that genetically makes this more you. If you have doubles of something, so like I say, if you've got like a necklace that you love wearing that's got 2 charms on it and you just want to have 1 charm on it, put the other charm on here. Sit this on your altar to represent you. And then when you're working with anything, and even when you're just feeling crap, you know, you can sit with this little effigy of yourself. There are certain sigils and markings that are great to work with poppets before you begin. I'll be talking about that in the grimoire pack that you get with the Holly Moon box. And again, you can put things like salt into the head of it, but I'll kind of explain all of that with the moon box. So that is how you make a poppet. And as I say, these are going to be in the moon box. Maybe I'll make a few of these brown ones as well. I quite like the contrast. Let me know what you think. If you prefer the kind of, I really love this one because it just looks, it looks like it's been buried, and the way it's been dyed has left it actually really lovely and stiff. So let me know if you kind of prefer the pre-buried look ones, the bit brighter ones, or maybe this nice brown. I think I'm going to do a few in this as well. So yes, I hope you've enjoyed it. I know it's been a quick one, but actually that's pretty great because that just means that there's a nice little thing you can pick up, a bit of scrap fabric, and even if you've got a friend that's kind of like not going through a great time at the moment, having something like this as a little, hi, I've made a little mini you and she's on the side and I'm thinking of you, can be like a really nice touch. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for joining me on Coffee with Crones. I hope that's been something you can pick up. If you make them, send us a photo, or if you've got one, if you already have them and work with poppets and you're happy to share a photo, then send them through. So thank you so much, and we will see you soon.